Welcome to Sips and Stories, where your journey matters, your story inspires, and every episode is a space to uncover what truly makes people thrive. Join me as we dive into real conversation with amazing guests, each one sharing the moments, lessons, and experiences that shaped who they are today. I'd love to hear from you, too. What's your journey? What's your story? And most importantly, what makes you thrive? We'll see you on the next story. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sips and Stories. I'm Sandy, and I have Lisa here with me. Lisa, could you introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are?
Okay, I'm Lisa Pflugh. I am a residential real estate broker with Tava Homes Group at Remax Properties in Colorado Springs and surrounding areas.
Wow. And I should know this, but I don't remember. Are you originally from Colorado?
I'm not. So originally from Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Grew up in central PA and moved all around for a long time, all years.
And why did you move around?
My husband was in IT in the 90s, and that's what he did. He would work at a job for a year and then get enough experience and he'd go get another job and get a $30,000 raise. And so we moved every 2 years, but by the time we were married 22 years, we moved 18 times.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so our kids kind of started to get the itch after 2 years.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, are we moving? Are we moving? And this is actually the longest we've ever been in one house.
Wow.
Yeah, almost.
And your kids are still here too?
Kids are all still here, yeah. Yeah.
And they decided because your roots are planted, they decided to plant
I don't know if we were the decision maker, you know. I mean, They all love it here. They were the ones that picked for us to move here. When we moved out here, we had moved so many times, and they were teenagers, and so sometimes they didn't like it. And so when we decided we were living in Fairfax, Virginia, and I hated it, and happy wife, happy life was really the.
So I don't know where Fairfax is, but
I've
heard a lot of friends.
It's near DC.
Yeah, I've had a lot of friends that have lived there, and they loved it.
I hated it. I'm a country girl. I grew up on 6 acres in the country, very small town.
Yeah.
And to be in Fairfax, I felt very isolated. People are not friendly. They don't say hi to you. We used to have a contest. We had a dog that was a Labradoodle, and we were renting a townhouse in Fairfax, which is another reason why I didn't like being there. But we would walk the dog. We'd have to walk the dog, and so we would have a contest to see how many people we could make say hi to us while we were walking, and then we'd come back and report back. And so it was like our little way to be rebellious. I just didn't like it. You know, it was.
And how long were you there?
2 years. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I realized my son was going to be a senior. And for whatever reason, my husband was home from work that day, and it hit me that, oh my God, if our kids graduate from here, they're all going to go in state, and we're going to be stuck here for 10 years. Like, we need to get the hell out of Dodge.
Oh my
and so when the kids came home.
That's a really good way of looking at it.
Yeah. When they came home, we sat them down and we said, my husband was working in IT, and we said, here's all the places that we can go where they have good tech industries. And it was back to Pennsylvania. We had looked at Austin, Arizona, Colorado. I forget where the other places were, but we sat them down. And backstory: when we were first married, we had the job that we worked at a job together. We were consular parents for adjudicated youth, and so the way you worked, you had 2 weeks on, and then you had a week off. And so we could stack our vacation where we could take a whole month off. And so we drove to Colorado, camped, and always thought, someday we'll get there. And we must have talked about that our kids' whole lives.
Wow.
And so when it came to picking where they wanted to go, they said, let's go to Colorado.
Huh.
And that's how we got here.
Wow. So you're a camper?
Not as much anymore, but yes.
We used to
do the...
My face probably said more than it should have.
Yeah, when it was just me and him, we were tent camping, which I didn't like. So when the kids were little, we did pop-ups. And then, and now we're back to tent camping, but we don't do it as much. We just go with the family to hang out.
Yeah. Well, that's it. If I could do a pop-up, but a lot of times, especially in Colorado, you really can't find.
Right.
real, places that are by water.
Right.
That you can drive into.
Yeah, yep.
So,
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd camp.
Yeah.
Glamping. Monument glamping. I still want to try that.
Yeah, I remember one time we went up, we were tent camping, we went to Steamboat, and we have a dog that is a sheepdog and a poodle, a sheepadoodle. And we woke up in the morning and it was like, I bet it was 35 degrees in that tent, and we were so cold, and at 5 a.m. we went to Walmart and bought a heater, and then we were trying to figure out how to not catch the dog on fire because it was a propane heater, and we wanted to get warm but not kill the dog, and it was rough. It took a while to go camping after the trip.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you grew up in Pennsylvania, so tell me about that. What was your experience like? Are you an only child?
No, sort of. So my brother and I are 13 years apart. So basically we are two only children. He was 7 when I got married. So it was as if we had the same parents, but it was as if we had different parents. Like my dad worked away from home when I was a kid. When my brother was a kid, he worked from home. So it was just very, very different. But small town, 135 kids in my graduating class. I moved there when I was 6. We came in from New Jersey. That's where my parents are from. And
every once in a while I hear that.
The Jersey.
Yes.
I loved.
Not that that's a problem.
Right. I loved growing up in a small town, but I couldn't wait to get away. At 19, right after I graduated from high school, I went to Italy and spent 6 weeks as an exchange student because I wanted to get out.
Okay, so as an exchange student.
It was, I didn't even have to go to classes. It was a summer exchange. It was pretty awesome. So
I do not take that as real.
I lived with a family and, in northern Italy.
Okay, but how did you do that? I mean,
it was through a program. I don't even remember what it was called now.
Wow.
But it was through.
And your parents were okay with that?
Yeah, I raised some of the money, my parents paid some of the money. And my mom, I'm pretty strong-willed, so I'm sure that my mom was like, I'm not even gonna fight this battle. And so I went and I had a great time. I did get sick while I was there. I ended up getting walking pneumonia, and they were treating me with like milk and honey. So the flight home was an utter, I cried the whole way. The pressure, because I had like a sinus infection, and the pressure was really bad. So it was really rough coming home. But I was.
So you caught it on the back end of your.
At the end, I was sick while I was there at the end of the trip. So it's been, I don't know, a long time, and I'm getting ready to go back to Italy and be a good American because I was a terrible American when I was there. I was just a spoiled kid. I was, I just think, if I knew then what I know now, I would have done that very differently. I would have enjoyed it, and I would have not been. That's one of my regrets, that I just feel like I was just this ugly American, and I just entitled kid, and so I'm going back in February, and I'm going to do it right.
Very good. Well, and you learned from that.
Yeah.
So, Well, that's really cool. I didn't realize that you were out there. And so what got that spirit in you, though? Because I know that you like to travel.
I do like to travel. I think what drew me to Italy, my maiden name is Ferrante, so my family is Italian. But what my passion was in high school and college was history, and I have a degree in archaeology. So that really, just the ancientness of Italy is really what pulled me there, and just kind of wanting to connect with my roots, and so that's really what pulled me to go in the first place, and to get away from the small town. Which I look back fondly, but I'm not small town material anymore.
Well, that's why I ended up in Colorado.
Yeah.
So, although I do like my small town, I have still a lot of good friends there.
Yeah.
But I think that I love Monument.
Yeah.
And Monument is the smallest town ever.
Yeah.
Okay, not really, but I just wanted to keep it that way now.
That's not how life works.
I know.
Yeah.
So, have you always been in real estate? I mean, I
don't
know how that path.
No. So, we got married in '94, and about 4 years later is when I had my first son. And I was still working in archaeology. I studied it in college.
Okay.
And then after college, I kind of did some different jobs just to be around archaeology. Like I worked at Mercyhurst College, which had a world-renowned archaeologist that worked there, and I was the secretary just because I wanted to be in the department.
How did you get interested in that?
Archaeology?
Yeah.
You know, I don't really know. Other than that, it's something that my parents we always talked about things like that. Like, we would research things, and we would talk about like the history of places and look for fossils and things like that. So we always had that kind of academic kind of discussions. And for whatever reason, I latched onto it, and that's kind of me. It's either on or off, and I was on, and really thought I was gonna. When we drove out here to Colorado, I went to CU Boulder because I was going to go to school there. Yeah. Can't take a GRE to save my life, and that's why I ended up not going there. And so we started having kids, and when our kids we had 3 kids in 4 years, so they're very, very close together, and we had a choice to make whether I go to work and we put the kids in daycare or whether I stay home with them. And we decided it was important for me to stay home with the kids. So I stayed home. We were a single income family for 20 years. And so we sacrificed a lot. We couldn't do a lot because we were on one income. And about, because we were moving a lot, for about 15 years before I got into real estate, I had, we'd buy a house, and the realtor was like, "Oh, you should get into real estate." And I was like, "Oh my God, no. Like, I would never do that." Right? And your other guest said it, it's about timing.
Yeah.
And it was never the right timing, because now I know if I had gotten into real estate then, my kids wouldn't have eaten, because I wouldn't have made them dinner because I love what I do, and I'm so all in that they would have missed out. And so it was all about timing. So yeah, I've only been doing real estate for 8.5 years. So over the years I would work part-time jobs around my husband's schedule. He'd come home from work, I'd go work in the evening. And then what really kind of prepared me for real estate was for 10 years I had done network marketing. I set up accounts for a network marketing company.
You did?
I did, yeah. And that trained me in sales. So I knew how to do sales. When I got into real estate, it was just a different avenue. And so we lived here for 2 years. And when I got licensed, didn't really know a whole lot of people. But my very first year, I sold 19 homes. Wow. So I found my avenue. That's what my husband says. He said, you found your lane. Yeah. He goes, now run.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done.
And that's cool to have the support at home.
100%. Yeah, I couldn't have done it without it. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and so you and I met for the first time. I think it was Bunko, wasn't
it? And I haven't played that in 10 years.
I know, and it was I don't know, the connection that you and I had, and then we find out that we live 5 minutes away from each other. So that's kind of cool too.
Yeah.
But what is some of the things that you enjoy with what you do now? I mean, if you learn how to handle people and do the sales, I mean, I don't know, I think you're very organized, and I think that based on that, I think you can probably pick up anything and run with it. So you're very driven.
Yes.
And when you make a decision, you don't
I usually do it right away. Yes. I am already doing it when I decide. And then I just this is where the beauty of being a black or white person is because I'm in. I'm a 2 feet person in all the time in whatever I do. So, and it's not because I work at it, it's just how I am.
Do you think that that was something because you traveled so much when you were for the first 22 years in your marriage, that, I mean, how did you juggle that? Because to me, it's okay, I was just getting settled, and then all of a sudden I'm moving again. So how did you, I don't know, I guess I don't know how to ask that question, because I'm trying to think in my head, how can you be so organized instead of just running, like, you know, from the
I guess
from one chaos to another, you know?
Oh no, yeah, I'm ADD. I thrive in chaos. I do, but I really think you just do it. I remember we had my son. 18 months later, I had my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
We moved when she was a month old, so I had a toddler and an infant, and we moved probably 5 hours away.
Mm.
So you just do it, and you deal with it, and that's kind of how I deal with it. I'm okay in chaos.
Yeah.
I'm good in stressful situations.
Mm-hmm.
It's when I'm bored that I'm not so good.
Yeah.
I should not be left with nothing to do.
Are you one that spends a lot of money when you're bored then, or?
No. Now I have the discipline when I'm bored, when business is slow or whatever. We're in a down, real estate is all ups and downs. Mm-hmm. And so when we're in a downswing, now I have the discipline to do the work that I know will result in work later. Yeah. And so that I've learned over the years. Mm-hmm. But generally, if I'm just bored, I try to find something to do. Yeah, I mean, now it's a little bit easier because I've got a grandbaby I can, go hang out with, or go hang out with my kids, or call a friend to go to coffee. Uh-huh. So I'm okay with it now. Yeah. I try not to stay bored for long.
And you don't have the wanderlust that you want to just take.
I don't,
take everything and plop it somewhere else.
No, I don't have that. I still love to travel.
Yeah.
But I don't. I think showing homes really helps me with that fix, so that I don't have to do the moving myself. Mm. So I get the variety of seeing different homes, and I'm good to stay where I am. I mean, we had talked about moving for a few years, and always come back to we're okay where we are. And so it's just kind of interesting. It's kind of calmed that itch a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, my mom was always one that she will tell you that she liked to move because every 3 to 4 years she'd be like, that's the first time that I could clean out my house and get rid of the crap. And it's just kind of like, and mine's just becoming a storage unit.
Yeah, I remember, it wasn't so bad when because we moved a lot around Pennsylvania. Okay. And so, we'd throw stuff in U-Haul, and we would move it, buy beer and pizza, and we'd get some people to come with us. Mm-hmm. But moving across country, that's when I was like, is that worth the weight that I'm paying for to move that? And so that's when I really started to pare down.
Yeah. So with your clients then, do you help a lot of clients with that moving process? I know that you have, you work with buyers and sellers.
I do, yeah.
So with the sellers though, are they selling to buy locally or getting out of Dodge? Do you have it kind of like a 50-50 or?
No, I would say it's more getting out of Dodge. There are some that move locally, but most of them are going. Which is sad. Mm-hmm. I love to build relationships with my clients, and I mean, they become friends. Yeah. And so it is sad when they go, but I know they appreciate the help that I do give. Mm-hmm. We have had a couple that have moved internationally, and so that's a unique situation, especially when they're on a timeline. The one that I'm thinking of, they were, on a time crunch, and they got rid of most of the stuff that they could, and they got down to it, and they're like, we can't get rid of this stuff. And I was like, go, I'll take care of it. Mm-hmm. And we cleared out their house, got rid of all the stuff. I now have a new bedroom set, which is fantastic. But it works. But I had to move it, and it's heavy. But yeah, so I really try to be that the help that I would have wanted. Mm-hmm. If I were in that situation, I really just try to make it. Moving is stressful, whether you're buying and moving in, or whether you're moving out of state. It's stressful, and so. Whatever I can do to make it easier is what my goal is.
So tell me what's your top number one real estate advice that you would give people if it's somebody buying or selling first?
So actually I have a different thing I want that's on the top of my mind. We're in the sandwich generation, right? We've got children and we've got aging parents. Something that is super important is that if you have an aging parent, you need to make sure that they have something in place, whether it's a trust or whether it is a beneficiary's deed, a time of death deed, so that when they pass, the house passes without any kind of problems. I had 2 deals this year where the house had to go into probate because they didn't have the right paperwork, and it's one family lost $50,000 in the sale of the house because we had to pull it off the market when we have an offer and then wait for it to go through probate and come back on later on. So that's just, I work with a lot of seniors also, and so that's just really, whenever I'm having people buy the house, I always think when I'm showing a house, they're like, can I live in this? And I'm thinking, what do we need to do to resell this? Because I know eventually they'll resell it. And so I'm always thinking resale, where they're thinking, how am I going to live in it? And so I try to also encourage them, let's make sure we have the right things in place so that you're protected if something were to happen to one of you.
Well, and you're starting your own thing with giving those types of advice.
Yeah, it's a podcast called The Fine Print. And so it's just that, people don't know what they don't know until they're in it. And if you're in it and someone has passed, the emotions cloud everything and everything feels urgent and nothing feels clear. And so that's why we're trying to create that, to give people information before they need it.
Yeah.
In my experience working with senior clients and working with children who have aging parents, I think, if you're thinking about what do I need to do, one, actually, talk to an estate attorney to get the best advice for your situation. But having paperwork in place that is going to protect you. And here's something that people think. They think a power of attorney is good enough. Power of attorney dies as soon as the person who you have power for passes away. So it's only good while they're still living. So if they pass away, then we stop and we go into probate. And probate isn't the end of the world in Colorado, but it can be costly because it wastes time. So getting, medical power of attorney while they're alive, and then getting things like a trust that is funded and that details where the assets go upon the passing of the person. And if you want something just quick, a time of death or a beneficiary deed is the way to go, so that the house can be protected, it can still be sold, and doesn't have to wait as the rest of the estate goes through probate.
And not only sold, but also to refinance under a family member if they want.
Yeah, if they're going to keep the house. It's and a lot of the challenges with this is, one, people don't want to talk about their demise, and 2, it's expensive. It can be expensive, but you're going to pay for it one way or another. And my parents have, I believe, thought enough of me that they don't want me to have to deal with those things when they pass, so they've taken care of it. And in return, we've done that with our children. We've put our house in a trust, and we've taken care of that so that our kids don't have to, when they are mourning our passing, they don't have to be dealing with all of this stuff too. Because there's so much that you don't even, what do you do with all the stuff in the house? Where's the paperwork? Where are the passwords? Did anybody pay the bills? Like, there are big, serious questions that you have to answer when you're in that situation. So getting ahead of it is the best thing that you can do.
And then I have one more question that just came up with dealing with the aging. Is there certification that you can get as a realtor?
Yep, it's a senior residential specialist, and I have that. I'm not sure why seniors are attracted to me. I don't know why I love working with them, but I really do. I think of them like my grandma, or my grandpa, and I wanna give them what I would have given my grandmother or grandfather. So I don't know why, but I love it and I'm grateful for it.
What do you recommend to the average homeowner or even a senior who needs to downsize? About how long in advance should they start paring down around their house? And is there certain things that's more difficult to get rid of than the other?
Yes, that is a big challenge. Unfortunately, I've had 2 situations actually 3 in this last year, where the homeowners passed and they've got a house full of stuff, and this stuff, beautiful art, and you can tell it meant so much to the owners, and it just, that reality of like, wow, it's just stuff, and so I would take the advice of my parents, start thinning out now, get rid of whatever you don't need, give it to your children now while you're alive, so you can see them enjoy it, rather than when you pass and you can't. It all just is stuff. And so I would rather my kids not have to deal with it. And so, I'm trying to thin out too.
Yeah. Then buyers and sellers.
Okay, buyers and sellers. So for buying, I think the most important tip is, there's so many. I
would probably say buy small and build up.
Yeah. I mean, we live in an Instagram world, and you're not going to get your dream house in your first house. So live within your means. Don't be house poor. And talk to me first, and then we'll get you talking to a lender so that you can get qualified and be comfortable with the payments.
Yeah.
And for sellers, boy, who you hire matters. I mentor other agents, and I'm mentoring an agent right now who is dealing with, she has the buyer, and the house is, the agent who's selling the house, it's his first deal. He doesn't have any support, and his inexperience has caused this. Should have closed in October, it now won't close till December, and it's costing the sellers hundreds of thousands of dollars. And there's nothing we can do about it. We can just try to keep the deal together, but this guy really harmed them because of his inexperience and lack of support. So who you hire matters. And if you want a list of questions, reach out to me. I've got a list that you can ask when you're interviewing realtors.
What are some things that you look for
So when someone is buying in Colorado Springs, especially if they're coming in from out of state, one of the things that I always tell them is don't apply for a mortgage online unless you want your phone and your email to blow up, because they're going to sell your info and you are going to be slammed with phone calls. So it's best to talk to the realtor, because the realtors know the local lenders and they know who to work with and who not to work with.
Mm-hmm. Well, also too, you also had a team at one time, and I can't remember if you now have one or if you're just kind of doing. So I don't know if you want to talk about, how your work changed when you had a team.
Yeah, it's interesting. I love mentoring. I love the camaraderie of a team, and so I was a solo agent for 4 years, and I was like, I really want this. I really want to be able to bring other people alongside and run with them and really help support them. And so, I had the team for 3 years, and I enjoyed that part of it. What I didn't see. That is an area of growth for me. Like leading and struggling with wanting it more for them than they wanted. It was a challenge for me. And I found that I was so focused on trying to get better at that I was detracting from my own production and the joy that I get from helping clients. And last year, the market was rough last year, and I had 4 agents and myself and 2 staff, and it was the end of June. We had done 6 deals, and I personally had done 4 of them. And I just realized I cannot want this for them more than they want it, and I couldn't run a charity. I love them all. I'm still friends with them, but I just couldn't keep paying for them. And so we decided to dissolve the team. And that's one of those things where I had someone ask me, well, do you think that was a failure? And I don't view it as a failure. I had some great experiences. I really helped some of my team members have really some success that they wouldn't have had otherwise. And I enjoyed the camaraderie, and that fed me. So I don't view it as a failure. I just view it as, we tried it. It wasn't giving me exactly what I needed. I was having a lot of stress because I wanted it so much for them, and that wasn't healthy for me. And so it was a decision just to pull back and kind of readjust. And now I'm solo. It's just me and my office manager, and I couldn't make it without her. Thank you, Beth. And she's just the best. And we've got a new rhythm, and it's working great. I had a great year this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and then you have 3 kids.
Yes.
And I don't know if you want to talk about the latest news.
Yes. So I'm in the grandbaby stage.
Yeah.
So I have 1 grandson, and I've got another one on the way. One of my daughters is adopting, in the process of adopting, and then my other daughter is thinking about starting a family in the next year. So I'm kind of excited. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you do outside of real estate then?
Travel. I like to travel a lot.
Do you are you more around this area, or do you actually go across the pond?
We go to Mexico a lot.
Oh, really?
We really enjoy going. We have a membership at a vacation club, and we go to there quite a bit. Costa Rica, I've been to a few times. Have not been to Europe since I went when I was 19, so this is the first time. And the only reason I'm going is because my youngest daughter is going to Kenya and coming back through Brussels, and she said, "Mom, do you want to go with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
My daughter wants to go somewhere with me. Yeah." And so we're going to meet up in Italy. And so that's how that came about. So yeah, travel.
And are you a planner then when it comes to that kind of travel?
She is a better planner. She is the better planner.
Yeah.
I
just like to show up.
She kind of gave me, because we're not meeting up. Like I'm going to go to Florence and be there one day by myself, and I don't even go to the movies by myself. So this is going to be interesting. So I had to plan that part. But yeah, she's planning the rest, and we're just going to have a good time.
There you go.
I like to rock climb. I haven't done it lately.
Where do you do that?
My kids are climbers, and so
all the open space then, or do you actually go to the indoor?
I've done both. Yeah, we climb at Red Rocks Open Space, and I've climbed up on the Flatirons with my son. So last year before my surgery, he said, "Come on, Mom, I'm going to show you can do hard things." And we went and climbed a triple pitch and did great. And it was scary, but we did it. So doing that. I'm a baker of exceptional cinnamon buns. Love to do that.
And is that with sourdough?
No, that was just, no.
Okay. So
I'm trying sourdough again this year, but whatever, we'll see. So baking I've always liked to bake, and my daughters, when they were in high school, had a bakery, so it's kind of, something that we all enjoy doing, but yeah.
Wait, they had a bakery when they were in high school?
Yeah, it's called Two Sisters and a Whisk.
Oh my gosh.
And they made like Cake Boss cakes, like fondant, and so the one daughter was the baker, one daughter was the designer. The designer is now a tattoo artist, so she transitioned her art medium. So they did that while they were in high school.
And you were just kind of
I helped. So we baked for one of the local restaurants in Monument, and so we'd have to get up at 4 in the morning and get to the restaurant and do the baking, and so they weren't driving at that moment, so I was driving and helping and doing all that. Yeah. And then when my oldest daughter graduated, my youngest one was like, "I'm out," and we had to close the business. But we still we made all of the wedding cakes for all 3 kids' weddings. So it's just something that the girls and I like to do. Yeah.
So what were you like in school? Sorry, I touched myself.
Anybody in sales is going to be one of those. I talked a lot in school. Yeah, it was always a problem. And then. So
you were not the baker.
No. No. I was just. I just talked a lot. Yeah. Motor mouth is what my nickname was in my family. And then in high school, my challenge was that my mouth works faster than my brain a lot, and so I'll say something and then think about what I just said and realize I shouldn't have asked that question. And so there was a guy that sat in front of me, and for whatever reason, one time when it clicked, he goes, "Ding!" And it was like, ding, like she finally got it, and that was my nickname throughout the last 2 years of my high school. Yeah. It's on my letter jacket. Ding. Yeah. I was just cleaning my closet out the other day and found a hanger that I've had for 40 years that said "ding" on it, and it must have been from band trips when I had my band stuff.
I was just going to say, how did that make you feel? Well, obviously.
Oh, I went with it. You know what? That's right. That's exactly what you have to do, right? Yeah. You can either try to deny it and try to make people, say no, or you can be like, "I own it. I am that." And that's what you got to do. It's all about the confidence. So, yeah.
So you've always had this sort of confidence, or?
I have. Yeah, I have. I don't know why, but I have.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry. A lot.
So I'm trying to think, I'm trying to think of a way to ask this question. I know that you told me what your dad did when you were growing up. What about your mom?
My mom was a nurse.
Okay.
So when I was growing up, she worked nights. And so then came home and got me off to school. And then after my brother was born, she worked at a local nursing home. So she's been in nursing for 40 years. She's retired now. And
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and you were kind of an only child. So did you really have to, like, did you take care of yourself a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Or
I'm a Gen X kid. Yeah. Like I drank out of hoses. I'd go fishing. Like I would leave. Like my parents didn't even know where I was. Like we were in the country, and so we'd go fishing, and we'd be gone all day. We would drink out of the stream and eat, cookies that we had with us or whatever, and they never knew where we were. We didn't have any way to get a hold of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were like, whatever, we'll see you later. I mean, you remember the commercial, right? It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are?
Yes.
That's us.
Yeah. Well, we had a big tornado whistle because Minnesota was, known for all the warnings, so we had, and I think they still do have the tornado whistles, and so that would go off every night at like 9:30, and so we had to be home before that whistle went off.
Wow.
We never knew what would happen.
Yeah.
Because we all listened to Mom and Dad.
Oh man.
Well, okay.
They should be dead
Maybe
so many
some
times
of us
over.
did, but I know.
We rode in the back of pickup trucks.
And yes, and by skating on a big lake, and then you hear the crack as you skate across the lake.
My word.
I mean, it's still something that I probably would still do today. But just know that we were so dang lucky for a lot of the things that we used to do.
Yep.
And the dig down ditches and all that kind of stuff. It's like, I don't think I want to do that nowadays.
I remember the guys that I went to high school with would get eggs after Halloween, and they would keep them in their garage until next Halloween. And then they would go egg houses with a-year-old eggs.
Oh.
Yeah. Small town. There's not much to do. So.
Yeah, no kids on listening today.
That's right, don't do that.
Do that at home.
Eggs are too expensive now.
That is true too. Oh my gosh. So what is a story, of one of your clients? Because with me being in lending, I know that there's so many stories out there of people who don't believe that they can get into a house because they can't afford it or whatever. But do you have any story that you would, be able to give some of the people that are listening of something that was unattainable, is what somebody would think?
Boy, it's really hard, right? Because I'm an advisor. And so if someone comes to me and they're like, we want to buy a house, but we want to keep our budget here, I'm not going to try to sell them a house just to sell them a house. And I actually had a conversation last night with somebody that's moving into town, and she said, we need a 4-bedroom house on land, and we want to keep it at $1,800 a month. Mm-hmm. And you just can't do that here. And so I am willing to sacrifice a sale to advise them, listen, that's not attainable, because when you own a house, you have unexpected expenses that you need to have a budget for. Tuck a little bit away every month into an account. That's your emergency fund. So I really try to tell people, if you don't think you can do that and have that, then maybe buying isn't right for you right now. Mm-hmm. Again, it's timing, right?
Yeah.
But there are some people that they're like, I want to rent, and I have $3,000 a month. Well, then I'm saying, listen, $3,000 a month, why would you throw away that equity, that money that you could be earning on your own home, and kind of talk through them that way, and kind of sometimes, here's a myth that a lot of people believe, is they think they have to have 20% down to buy a house.
Yeah.
And you don't. And when you tell them that, and they're like, what? Now, their whole world opens up of possibility and dreaming, and home ownership is achievable for people. They just have to have the right education.
Mm-hmm. You plan on something when you really want it, just figuring out a budget, and even if it's $50 a month that you set aside, or to buy a house, you probably need a little bit more than $50 a month.
Yeah.
But look at your timeline. When is it that you feel that you want to be in a house? Is it in a year? Is it in 6 months?
Yeah.
And figure out what it is. I never think that when somebody's calling just to get an idea of what they can afford, I never think, this is forever. This is going to be forever. It's just, it's not right now. But if I can help them figure out, and working together with a realtor as yourself, working together so that we can advise them together. This is what you can afford now, but if you wait, or if you do, this is what your budget is. And
I'm really shocked at people. It's like there's a slow leak in their spending, and they don't even realize it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm guilty of that myself. My husband's like, how much Starbucks are you buying in a month? And I'm like, I don't know. And then we looked at it, and I was like, dang, I spent too much at Starbucks. And so, but if you're not aware of it, it's a slow leak. And so, if I don't go to Starbucks 3 times in a month, that's $30 that I'm saving and putting somewhere else. And so, I whether they buy a house from me or not, if they come and have the conversation with me, we're talking about stuff like that. To say, okay, I may not get a sale out of this, but if I can help you get better or get closer to that, that's all worth it to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, also too, one of the things that I noticed too is that people use their debit cards for everything.
Yeah.
And when I was quite a few, like thousands and thousands of dollars in credit card debt, I forced myself to have a cash budget for going out with my friends. It's like I gave myself, this is how much I had every Friday. That's what I would pull out.
Yeah, because plastic is pretend money. You don't feel it.
And it really, really helped a lot to do that. So, and it got me out. I mean, it took me 7.5 years to do it, but I got out of it, and I'm so proud that I actually.
Well, it's short-term pain for long-term gain, and that's something that we're in we want it now society, and if we can help someone figure out how to make a plan to have some short-term pain to get that long-term gain, I think they appreciate it once we're through it. Yeah. Nobody likes it when it's hard, but you don't grow unless there's something hard. And that, for me, growth is super important. Whether it's personal growth or growth as a relationship, you got to go through hard stuff to get to good stuff.
Yeah. So, did you have a job in high school?
I did.
Yeah.
My very first job was a ticket girl at a racetrack, sprint car racetrack.
Oh,
yeah, so I wear the race car t-shirts.
That's where you built up your confidence. Are you kidding me?
So I did that, and then I also worked in an ice cream shop at Jack's ice cream shop, where they made us wear white. I don't even understand it. We had white,
because you can bleach.
White, and then that's probably why. Yeah. And then we had a red apron, and I was always brown by the end of the night.
Chocolate shakes?
Chocolate, yeah, because those things are messy and they fly everywhere. But yeah, that was my first job.
Oh gosh. And then did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to Slippery Rock University. It's a small state college in Pennsylvania, in Western PA.
And that was for the archaeology.
Yeah, and they no longer have that program.
Really?
Yeah, there was just an archaeologist that was on staff in the anthropology department, and so they kind of created the program for me. And now it's gone.
Sorry.
Yeah. But I just went back. I just had like 31-year reunion with some friends that we all got together, and I went back to the university, which completely is different now. But
yeah, they all are.
Yeah.
I just found out a couple of weeks ago that my house that I grew up in was torn down.
Aww.
And it was. Then of course I'm like, why? Because they needed a parking lot. I'm like, oh. Yeah, my hometown is not the same, that's for sure. Yeah. But, it's still, the people are still memories that were there.
Yeah.
So, but I took all those pictures. Yeah, people, that's why I take pictures. I have so many friends that are like, another one. But, I started with a copy of Sandy and taking a picture of it. So, and now I do that with not only my friends, but even landscapes and talk about different things, because it's the memories that, come out of that. So,
yeah.
So what's one of the biggest memories that you have from growing up, and then also too now that you're...
Oh boy.
I know, tough question.
It is a tough question, because about what? Memory about what?
Yeah, when you were in school. What was it? Did you have any like really great experiences that, you know, when you were in school, that if you could live that all over again, you would? Or are you one that just kind of like whatever happens in the past?
I'm not like, oh, this was the fantastic, you know, besides like the birth of my children, you know, like, I'm not really, I don't look back. Mm-hmm. I really don't. And I think that's one of the keys to my success, right? Because if you are constantly looking back and trying to figure out, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, like you're never gonna see what's in front of you and the steps that you have to take to go forward. So I have the blessing of I also have terrible short-term memory because I had Lyme's disease in 2007, and that has impacted the short-term memory part of my brain. And so I have a hard time with short memories. Long memories I'm fine with. So I just use that as an excuse. So I don't remember anyway, so I'm just going to move forward.
That's good. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, good. Well, in interest of time, I need to cut us off early. But I don't know if the audience has any questions.
I do. So it seems that your experience from going from a small town and then traveling, that your ability to be so diversified helps you to relate to people from all walks of life. Do you feel that helps you to just naturally connect to people on their level?
Yeah, I am a natural connector. I look for a way to connect with someone. And so, yes, I love it. All of my clients think I agree with them. I love it that none of them know politically where I stand because they all think I agree with them. And I don't do it to be manipulative. It's not important. It's not pertinent to the contract or to the to the transaction. I love people from all different religions and colors, and it doesn't matter to me. So it has been helpful, and I think the relationship, because I know someone that's completely different from me, I can learn something from them in that interaction. I showed a client yesterday who is from a different country, and I kind of was able to get just a little bit of insight into how she thinks about things, and that I have not experienced with people that are from this country. So it's been interesting. So yes, connecting is important to me, and I work very hard to be able to connect with people and accept them for who they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You had mentioned a couple of items with your health journey. What bearing do you think that's played on how you see things or how you handle yourself? Did it make any changes in your life?
It did. So last year was a rough year. We had a really bad car accident. We were rear-ended. We were stopped, and the guy hitting us was doing 60. And so we've had a year of health, PT and all that kind of stuff. And that was in July, and then in August or September of last year, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And that was my second cancer. I had melanoma in 2020, which was kind of a non-issue. It was very tiny. They took it out. They're like, you're good. And it was it. So the colon cancer came out of the blue. Didn't have any symptoms. Didn't know I had it. Then we found it on a colonoscopy. If you're over 40, get a colonoscopy. We had just switched doctors right before the accident. We saw her sooner because of the accident. And she said, you need to have a colonoscopy. And I was like, do I? And so I did Cologuard first, which came back positive, and then had to have the colonoscopy. And the doctor said, I don't even have to biopsy this to tell you that you have colon cancer. So that was a life shakeup. I went out of state. I went to Mayo Clinic to have my surgery. So my husband was my caregiver. We stayed in Arizona for 15 days. And I started doing research on colon cancer and why I got it. And I have a condition called Lynch Syndrome, which makes you more likely to get colon cancer. So,
okay, so how did you discover that?
They did a genetic test. They tested the genetics because of the way the tumor looked. They knew to look for the genetics. So I had all my relatives, my blood director, my dad, my parents, my children. They all had to get the test too. And so one of my daughters has Lynch, and my father has Lynch. And so, but it really took me on this journey of, this is something that feels uncontrollable, but there is something that you can do when you have a likelihood to get cancer. And if your metabolic health is not good, you can work to fix that. So I have changed my diet. I work out twice a day now, and I've lost some weight, and I'm continuing to do that to try to fix my metabolic health to put me in the best position to not get future cancers. So, yeah.
Well, also to enjoy live to be 120, which is what we're supposed to live.
I just want good health span. As long as I'm alive, I want to be healthy. I don't want a slow decline after 50 that I'm just slowly trying to die. I want to live. I want to be able to rock climb. I want to be able to go skiing. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to pick myself up if I fall on the floor. Yeah. And that's a huge thing that people can't do. So, I've worked very hard, done a lot of research, and made some changes, and my health's improved, my strength's improved, and I'm good.
And what do you do in your downtime then? So, because you're so driven, what do you do to decompress?
Hot tub, sauna, and reading. I like to do, and watching movies. I'm a movie buff. But yeah, I like to do all of those things.
Okay. Well, in interest of time, I will cut off the questions, and I will actually thank everybody for showing up today. Thank you, everybody. And Lisa, if you can let everybody know how to reach you.
So, TavaHomesGroup.com is my website. You can reach me there. My contact information is on the site. I'm always happy to help anyone buying or selling in the area, or if you're going out of the area, I've got a great network of agents all over the country.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, and we will see you on the next story. What's your journey? What's your story? And most importantly, what makes you thrive? We'll see you on the next story.